Hello and welcome. I'm Marcus, and this is my new show, Marcus Rambles. What is Marcus Rambles? In simple terms, it's a review show. Kind of. Basically, I'm just going to talk at length about pretty much whatever I want. This can range from movies, to television, to video games, and anything in between, really. I'm kind of like that one guy you know who never knows when to shut up, only sometimes I say something interesting. And on the plus side, you can actually shut me up with a simple click. If that sounds like your kind of thing, then welcome aboard. If not, then you're more than welcome to leave, no hard feelings. With that said, today I'm going to talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2. But before I get into any specifics, I just want you guys to know where I'm coming from when I eventually say what I have to say. Holy goddamn fucking Spider-Man! I love Spider-Man so goddamn much. Everything about him is just fucking radical. Marvel has a lot of characters, like a fucking ton of them, and each one is recognizable or popular in their own right. Except for the Beyonder. No one cares about the Beyonder. I know quite a lot, but even I don't know who the fuck this guy is or what his deal is. But if I was asked who the poster child of Marvel was, I'd have to say it's Spider-Man. He's young, energetic, always looking out for the little guy. He's a likable and relatable character. Kind of the perfect relatable character, really. Think about it. We've all either been a teenager or going to be one at some point in our lives. And I like to think we've all been the little guy getting picked on. I sure as hell was. No matter who you are, you can like this guy. Unless you don't like teenagers. Which I totally understand. They can kind of be assholes sometimes. And he's fucking everywhere you look. Comic books aside, there have been various television adaptations of the character, video games, fucking novels, that god-awful stage play, and of course, movies. To this day, I still remember seeing the very first trailer for the Sam Raimi movie on my shitty dial-up internet. You know, the one with the Twin Towers in it? I remember watching it and my little brain just couldn't handle it. Even today, I think it's an awesome trailer. It gets you excited for the movie. And then terrorism had to go ahead and ruin it. Thanks a lot, terrorism, you fucking asshole! Just a little side note, did you know that there was actually a Spider-Man movie before the 2002 Sam Raimi film? Yeah, all the way back in 1977. It was a made-for-TV movie that served as the pilot for a series that was to be released a year later. But it did have a widespread theatrical run. I've never watched it personally, the movie or the TV show, but hey, it's Spider-Man. I'll fucking watch it if I can get my hands on either one. I've seen tiny bits and pieces of the show online here and there, but hands down, the best thing I've ever seen from the show is this single solitary image. Just look at him! He's so adorable! How can my Spider-Man be this cute? He looks so amazed and curious, like he's seeing the world for the first time with fresh eyes. Fresh chrome eyes. Spider-Man is one of the de facto superheroes I grew up with as a child. To this day, whenever I think of Spider-Man, the little jukebox in my head starts going, Spider-Blood, radioactive Spider-Blood. So back on point, The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out in 2014, but at the time of me making this video, I only just saw it like a couple months ago. I don't know why it took me this long to see it. I enjoyed the first one. Hell, I even rewatched it for the making of this video, just in case I forgot something. I think my problem is, I'm super lazy, even when it comes to watching movies. I only ended up watching the second one because Jacob sat me down and forced me to watch it because he thought it was terrible. I thought to myself, how is that possible? The first one was okay, and it's being made by the same people. What is he talking about? Let me make something clear. I've definitely seen worse movies. Definitely seen a worse Spider-Man movie, that's for sure. Actually, I think this is a good jumping off point. Before we can talk about The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I think we should talk about Spider-Man 3 for a second. Now, I'm not going to sit here and rip into Spider-Man 3. No. That movie deserves its own video entirely, and I do plan on making one. But I need you to understand something here. Spider-Man 3 is the worst Spider-Man movie. Hands down. It's just terrible. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is only slightly less worse than Spider-Man 3. Let's say we're talking about percentages. And let's say Spider-Man 3 is 95% bad out of 100. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is 90% bad out of 100. Now, I know what you're thinking. If Spider-Man 3 is the truly awful one, then why am I talking about The Amazing Spider-Man 2? Well, other than the fact that I have literally nothing but time on my hands and desperately need something to do besides masturbate all day, I'm talking about this movie because it honestly shocked me. No, that's not a pun. I'm serious. Watching this movie was shocking. Like the shocker. I was kind of in awe when I watched it. The kind of eye you get when you stare upon the ungodly horrors of the cosmos. But before I start saying anything, I want you to know that I'm not just going to be yelling expletives and acting all pissed off. There are plenty of AVGN clones on the internet, and honestly, we don't need any more. So for a change of pace, I'm actually going to talk about what I liked about the movie first. First up is this transition. I think it's an awesome way to introduce Spider-Man. It's great visually, it fits with the character, it's fun and dynamic. Really, this whole sequence of him swinging through New York is awesome. He looks great, the camera shakage is down to a minimum, I can actually see what he's doing, unlike a certain scene that came before this one. One thing I really want to mention is the sound. Not the music per se, the music here is serviceable. No, I'm talking about the sound design. When it comes to sound design, I kind of dork out a lot. Sound design, to me, is a very crucial part of any movie, TV, or video game experience. The sound of something can seriously make or break the experience for me. Whether it's Indiana Jones's punches, the voice modulation used on the brown paper bag in PT,
I'd walk. And then I saw me walking in front of myself. But it wasn't really me.
or anything else really. Here's a good example of something that makes and breaks an experience for me. I'm a big anime fan, but I haven't watched Attack on Titan yet. But when I do, I know I'm going to watch the subbed version. I saw this video clip online and it really got me interested in the show. I don't know what's going on here, but I do know I like the noises this big goblin dude makes. Jesus Christ, those sounds are so good. But typically, for convenience sake, I tend to watch the dubbed version of anime, unless told otherwise. But listen to this. This is from the English version, and just... what the fuck is that? That sounds like garbage. It's so dumb sounding. Bringing this back to The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I really fucking like the sound of Spider-Man's web shooters in this movie. If you have headphones on, you'll be able to hear it no problem, and if you're not wearing headphones, I highly suggest you put some on and listen to the noise itself. It sounds fantastic. I enjoyed how Spider-Man dispatches Paul Giamatti. Nothing else positive here. Another thing I really like is his costume. Tobey Maguire's costume was a good first big budget attempt. The eyes are a bit off to me though. Now, the weird thing is that this isn't the same costume used in the first movie. The first Amazing Spider-Man's costume is... oh boy. I don't hate it. Really, I don't. The overall design of the costume is kind of cool. What kills it is the material they went with. What the hell is that shit? It doesn't look like cloth or spandex. It looks stiff, like it's made of semi-hard rubber, like the stuff you see on work gloves. And it's not just Spider-Man who's got this going on. It seems like a lot of superhero movies nowadays seem to use this stuff for their costumes. My friends and I eventually just started calling this mystery substance basketball material. That's what it looks like. The outside of a basketball. Why would you ever use this material, and why is it so common? I can kind of understand why you might use it for Superman. It does look kind of alien, I guess. But on someone like Spider-Man, it just looks awful. Also, his eyes are really bad too. They're made of metal or something, and they're so small and narrow. It honestly reminds me of a shitty version of the 1978 Japanese Spider-Man costume. There must have been some kind of negativity coming from the costume in the first movie because they just change. No explanation, this is just what his costume looks like, and honestly, he looks perfect. I think it's the best looking live-action Spider-Man costume. Tom Holland's is a close second, though. Those sexy eyes. Now, one thing I like that's not only in this movie, but also the first one, is Sally Field as Aunt May. I really like Sally Field. She's one of those actresses I enjoy no matter what her role is, big or small. It's weird that whenever I think of her, I always remember her as being Robin Williams' wife in Mrs. Doubtfire. I know she's in other better movies, but for some reason, that's the one that comes to mind. I'm weird like that. Anyway, here she does a good job with what she has to work with. This bit right here is actually really nicely done. I didn't even notice the first time I watched it, or the second time. Listen to how she delivers her lines and the expression on her face.
I wish your uncle could have been here.
Me too. And my folks.
Yeah.
This is important because I'm going to bring this up later on, and it has to do with this rendition of the character. Side tangent, Martin Sheen as Uncle Ben was one of the best casting decisions anyone could have made. I think he's better than Cliff Robertson. That's not to say Cliff was bad or anything, far from it. I just prefer Sheen's portrayal of the character. Cliff felt like he was kind of playing the role as if he were Pa Kent from Superman. I don't know, that's how it came off to me. Sheen was funny, likable, but also a good parent. It was actually nice to see him get stern with Peter, who at the time was kind of going on a power trip.
Now don't answer that, but I'm glad to know it's working. You owe your aunt an apology. Big time. Be a man, get in there and apologize.
Look, I'm sorry, Uncle Ben. I got distracted.
Oh, you got distracted.
Yeah.
Your aunt, my wife, had to walk 12 blocks alone in the middle of the night and then wait in a deserted subway station because you got distracted.
Ben, sweetheart, honestly, I am completely capable of walking home.
You will not defend this
I'm
boy.
not
You are defending him.
Another thing I like is some of the interactions between Emma Stone and Andrew Garfield, particularly when they're doing couple stuff. They're really fucking cute together. They have some killer on-screen chemistry. That may have to do with the fact that they were dating while the movie was being made. Actually, while we're bringing her up, Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy is another really great casting decision. In fact, that was one of the reasons I really wanted to see the movie in the first place. Not because Emma Stone was going to be in it, although that did help. The decision to have Gwen Stacy in the movie instead of Mary Jane was an interesting idea. It couldn't have been an easy decision either, and I'm seriously surprised anyone let it happen. Mary Jane is the more popular and recognizable character. It's like if they made a Superman movie, but instead of Lois Lane being the female lead, they made it Lana Lang. Hell, I don't even think the general movie-going audience knew who Gwen Stacy was before these movies happened. I'm actually curious, if you knew who Gwen Stacy was before this movie came out, let me know in the comments below. I genuinely want to know. Anyway, back on point, I was totally on board with the decision to have Gwen be in the first movie, more or less because I wanted to see how they would handle the eventual death of Gwen Stacy. Because let's be honest, if Gwen Stacy is in your Spider-Man movie, that bitch is gonna expire faster than warm milk. I know I kind of already mentioned it, but I really dig the scenes of Spider-Man just jumping around buildings and swinging through the air. You know, Spider-Man doing whatever a spider can. Man, they're really well done and look solid. Yeah, I know he's a CGI character almost all the time he's doing it, but that's to be expected. Some of the shit he does, I don't expect any stuntman to be able to do. Now, weirdly enough, one of the other positives in this movie is Spider-Man's interactions with the various civilians. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, it feels organic. He just sort of helps people who need help, as if he's some sort of superhero. Him helping the little kid, him working with the New York Fire Department to take down Electro, the last interaction with the police, they're all moments that stick out to me. New York fucking loves this guy, in fiction and reality. He's practically New York's mascot. So when one of the cops is concerned when he can't locate Spider-Man, I don't know, it adds something.
Does anyone have visual on Spider-Man?
This one was a bit of a difficult decision for me to make. I really couldn't tell if I liked this scene or if I thought this scene was stupid. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it's both. It's a good scene for one reason and one reason alone. Chris Cooper. Chris Cooper is an awesome actor, but for whatever reason, he's literally in this one and only scene. He plays Norman Osborn, who normally becomes the Green Goblin, and while he doesn't have much to say, Cooper's performance adds some serious weight to the scene.
This is not how I imagined I would die. Looking at my son and seeing a stranger.
You see, he's dying and his son hates him because he didn't spend time with him as a kid and sort of forced him to grow up faster, killing his childhood as it were. But his motivations for doing so are actually kind of heartbreaking. Harry has the same disease that's killing his dad, so his dad spent his entire life sacrificing his relationship with his son to try and find a cure for the both of them, and has unfortunately failed. If given the opportunity, I think this character would have been a very interesting take on the Norman Osborn character. It's a shame, I kind of wish we could have gotten to see more of him. Speaking of seeing, I like how Electro looks. Some of the time. When I heard he was going to be the villain of this movie, I pretty much knew which direction they were going to take him in, visually that is. But that's all I'm going to say on that right now.
I'm glad you're not one of those cops that rides a horse.
I like that line. Nothing really more to say about it, I just thought it was funny. Oh, and I like Spider-Man's approach to the situation. I like that he calmly tries to talk down the newly born and very confused Electro. That's something you don't see a lot in most other superhero movies. Okay, this isn't something I liked, but it made me laugh my fucking ass off. There's just something about Peter Parker Googling, "What is Roosevelt?" and all these pictures of FDR popping up that just... I don't know, I found it funny. Shit, I still think it's funny. Like, what the fuck did you expect?
Peter, honey, can I come in?
No! Speaking of laughing, I'm a weird person when it comes to what can and can't make me laugh. I have a very weird sense of humor. For instance, I saw the movie Pixels when it came out. It was terrible. I'm glad I got free tickets. But there was one scene in that movie that made me laugh harder than the entirety of the movie. Now, there's nothing funny in this scene. It's all stupid, But the visual of this woman sitting in her giant walk-in closet, drinking wine from a sippy cup, I don't know, something about it made me lose my shit. So when a movie does intentional humor and makes me laugh, I count it as a plus, and this bit here made me laugh. So, kudos. Okay, so remember that scene earlier, the one I pointed out?
Yeah.
Well, it's time to talk about it. That scene was just a hint of a scene to come, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie. Aunt May has just found out that Peter is investigating his parents' death, and she's none too happy about it. I actually like the idea of sweet old Aunt May being pissed at her brother-in-law for essentially dumping Peter at her doorstep without so much as a word.
That's my father.
Yes, he was your father. But that didn't seem to stop him from leaving you.
Normally the character is portrayed as being this cookie-cutter sweet old lady, which is fine in its own right. But I don't know, I think this is a good approach to the character. Sally Field puts on a wonderful performance throughout the whole movie, but this scene between her and Andrew Garfield really makes her shine. She really stands out among the other actors.
The truth is, your parents left you here on our doorstep. And you were this little boy whose whole world was turned upside down, with no explanation. We did the best we could. Your Uncle Ben and I. And who else was going to care for you and protect you and worry about you? Your father? No. I was the one who wiped your nose and made you brush your teeth and do your homework and washed your dirty underwear. Me, your stupid, non-scientific aunt who doesn't know how to make ends meet, who has to take nursing classes with 22-year-old kids so I can pay for you to go to college. And I don't know how to do this without Ben. I don't know how. And you're dreaming about your perfect father who was never here. No, I won't tell you. You're my boy. As far as I'm concerned, you're my boy. And I won't hurt you.
Just a weird side note, but I'm pretty sure this is the exact same subway station that Neo gets trapped in one of the Matrix movies. Yeah. Okay, no joke. Alongside the scene between Peter and Aunt May, this is one of my favorite scenes in the whole movie for two reasons. One, I love the balls on this guy.
How dare you come back in here? You recalcitrant, unworthy, defective urch. Freaks.
He just watched a terrifying blue electric god form out of thin air, instantly kill a man, and obliterate a desk with the flick of a finger, and he has no quarrels with running his mouth off. I love it. This dude's awesome. And secondly, I love what Electro does here. He fucking zaps the motherfucker, killing him, and then brings him back to life so he and Harry can get what they want. Not only is that the most badass, hardcore, evil, and creative thing in this movie, but it's an awesome usage of Electro's powers. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And the final fight with Electro is pretty good too, with a few exceptions I'll get into later. This is probably the best action scene in the movie. It's a pretty good small-scale action set piece. Electro's fading in and out of existence, passing through these electrical conductor things. Spider-Man is swinging around, they're trading blows. It flows nicely. And I think that's about it for the things I liked. Now, I know that might seem like a lot, but really it's not. It only seems that way because I've been talking for so long. Like, seriously, this movie is 2.5 hours long. Not including the credits, it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. And what I liked clocked in at around 15 minutes. That's still 2 hours of movie, so we're far from done. I'm sorry.